Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, welcome to day 2 of the Writers Festival, everybody. Just going to pull you up on my phone so I can see all your beautiful comments. I'll get the text sorted. Okay, I'm live in the group. Okay, beautiful. All righty. Hello, everyone. Great to be here. How are you all doing? Let me know. Please say hi as you're joining so that I can see who's tuning in. Beautiful day here in Newcastle. Beautiful summer day. So beautiful to be, finally at the end of the year, at summertime. Like, I don't know, I love this time of the year, the festive season, particularly here in Australia because it's so hot and we're by the beach, so we're always at the beach. Anyway, life is good in this time of the year. I really feel that. We're at the other end of that intense winter cocooning. The butterfly has left the cocoon. That's kind of how I feel, at least. 2022 was a year of big time metamorphosis for me and cocooning and like reorganizing and reintegrating, and so much happened this year. So I'm celebrating that. Anyway, good morning, Mona. Good afternoon for you. We have another person here. Please say hi so I know who you are. We are at day 2 of the Writers Festival. Now, I know we have quite a few people today joining in via the replay. So please, as you're catching this training, whether it is live or replay, hashtag live, hashtag replay so that we can see you, so that we can feel you joining in. If you haven't yet introduced yourself to the group and you are new to me and to my world, I would love it if you can do that, please. If you can pop into the group and just say hi, share a selfie, go live if you're feeling a little bit spicy and a little bit like, you want to push the edges of your comfort zone, and share with us about who you are and where you're from and what your soul work is and how writing in particular is a part of your life, or maybe it's not a part of your life. We'd love to know a bit more about you. Hello, Tracy. Thank you, Mona. Yeah, I'm feeling good today. I do have a little one sick. My big boy, he's out there. So if I have anyone coming in, I think most of us probably understand the juggle, and it is a juggle. Anyway, today I wanted to, introduce you all to some really interesting concepts and some really powerful tools and practices. First of all, though, I would love to hear from you how you've found day 1's training, how it's settling into your system. I know I gave you kind of threw you in the deep end a little bit with the home play that I offered. And I would love to hear how that is feeling because, it was quite a big one. And that's kind of how I roll. It's how I roll. So what I wanted to tap into was the power of recognizing these moments in your life. I asked you to find a moment in time that moved you deeply, that shook you to your core, that like transformed everything. And like I said yesterday, maybe you felt like what words could describe this experience. Potentially that was a factor of this moment in time. And yesterday I asked you to, this is the writing festival, sit down and put pen to paper or put finger to keyboard and begin the process of writing, actually start to write. So I will be really encouraging and holding space and inviting you to do that. It's one thing to come and to turn up to all of these kinds of trainings and to learn lots of information. And it's another thing to actually integrate and take it to that next level. This is something I talk to a lot of my clients, especially in the business coaching arm of my business. It's like, are you creating or are you consuming inside of your business? And yes, we go through phases where we do more of one and then phases where we do more of the other. However, as a leader, you are here to create. You are not here to consume. You can consume. However, you want to have the balance right. Yeah. You don't want to be overfeeding that like information overload, overwhelmed state. When we're talking about creating a space for writing and creating a space for creative inspiration, this is a really important piece. If you're constantly being bombarded or allowing yourself to be bombarded by other people's information, by other people's like the frequency and energetics of other people. This is why social media can be so intoxicating and also so distracting and so addictive. Like, I want you to think about, imagine if the social media landscape was actually like the digital landscape was actually an in-person marketplace. Imagine, like, just for a moment, have a sense into how that would feel, right? You're walking through this really busy marketplace and there's thousands upon thousands of people screaming their wares at you, right? That's what's happening to us every time we enter into the social media landscape. We are literally being bombarded. Obviously, it's not quite as intense because we're not literally hearing the voices, although often we are, but the impact on our energetics is still the same. So one thing that I love to do when I am going through a process of creation, whether it's creating a new offering, whether it's writing a book, whether it's writing a chapter in a book, whether it is creating new content, whether it's opening a different arm of my business, one of the things that I love to do is to actually do a social media detox, because, like, as someone who is very open to inspiration, if I'm on social media too much, or if I'm in overconsumption of other people's works inside of social media, and it's not inspiring, it's simply just information overload, then it dulls my creative channel. It kind of blocks my creative channel. Potentially the same is true for you. Creation, not consumption. So a little bit of a detour, but I wanted to check in. How did you go yesterday? Were you able to put pen to paper? Were you able to find a moment in your life where that matched these conditions, where you felt these things, where you felt moved to the core, where you felt shaken or flawed, or like your world had fallen down, or the rug had been pulled out from underneath your feet, or like you saw things in a completely different way? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Let me know in the comments, please. Hi, Tanya. So what we're talking about here, moments like this, are threshold moments. That's what I call them. They are threshold moments. Moments when we cross a threshold. And every time we cross a threshold, we are like the act of crossing that threshold, whether it's an actual active thing that we, like an active step that we took, or whether it was like the universe creating a situation around me that I felt like I had no control over, and I was just thrown along for the ride. A threshold moment is an incredibly powerful time of initiation. And throughout a lifetime, we have hundreds, sometimes even thousands of threshold moments. Small ones, big ones, some that like move us deeply, some that just like, it's like small micro initiations, micro shifts, micro changes. And so recognizing, first of all, that this is what it is, that it is a threshold moment, that every time I engage in a threshold experience, I am changed. The cellular structure in my body shifts, it morphs slightly. I see things through a slightly different way. I feel things more deeply. They're very, very powerful. One of my most powerful threshold moments, and I wrote about this in a book called The Younger Self Letters, was like the culmination, the apex point of 2 years of severe suicidal postnatal depression after the birth of my first son. And it was like 2 years where I was fighting against this kind of internal depression that I'd never experienced before. I'd never experienced depression before. And it was this like beast which overcame me, this addictive beast. I was like, I wanted to stay there. It was easier to stay in that state of depression than it was to pull myself out of it. And my threshold moment, 2018, in the middle of winter, it was hardcore cocoon time, right? We spoke about that just before. And I was in the bath, it was midnight, and I was about to make a decision to end my life. And in that moment, when I was like coming to this decision, I felt the room fill up with energies, with people, with support. The amount of support, like spiritual support, that came to me in that moment, including my grandmother who'd passed away 6 months prior, including, you know, people that like friends that had died, like so many energies and people, entities came to me in that moment and supported me as I pulled myself away from the edge of the cliff. Now, I call this my bathroom floor moment because it was literally on the floor of the bathroom, like, okay, I'm done. I want to go home. I don't like this anymore. It was my bathroom floor moment. However, the act of removing myself back and like making that decision not to go ahead with something that I would never be able to undo, making the decision to stay despite the intensity of what I was experiencing, despite the intensity of being in a human form in this 3D reality, was one of the most significant threshold moments of my life. I look back on that time and I'm like, I'm not the same woman now that I was before that moment. Something shifted very powerfully for me. So your threshold moments, they are life-changing. They change the way you see the world. And in many cases, you will have threshold moments that are asking to be shared. And what I love so much about the power of sharing story, up until I decided to release that story, to write about it publicly and to release it in a book, that we were getting to like USA Today bestseller status, which we did. We got this book to USA Today bestseller status, which means we sold like tens upon tens of thousands of copies. So much visibility. As I was moving to writing this chapter, I was battling with myself so much because I knew how much publicity this book was going to get. I was like, this is such a good strategic opportunity. I don't want to waste it. I need to position myself really powerfully. I need to write a story that's going to have me be seen as an expert and standing in my authority. Do you think that happened? Every time I sat down to write this chapter, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't flow. And I knew it was because I needed to be vulnerable. I needed to be brave and really courageous. That story was the moment in my life that I held the greatest shame around. I was so ashamed of that moment. I was terrified of people finding that out. I thought that people would see me as being less credible because I had been to this place, because I had nearly taken my own life. I thought that people would see me as like less professional. But the act of writing that chapter, which was like excruciating and cathartic, and like it's something we can't actually describe, the power of connecting with your threshold moments and writing them to be published. You cannot underestimate the power that experience actually has. You relive everything, you heal everything. It gives you an opportunity to move into a deeper place of embodiment with your journey and love with your journey. The act of publishing that story inside the Younger Self letters, and I have the book somewhere, I should show you here. USA Today bestseller. It disintegrated the shame. It obliterated the shame. And there's a beautiful Brene Brown quote that I love: shame cannot survive in a petri dish. Because like if we keep it like this, if we keep our shame to ourselves and no one knows and we don't give it any oxygen, it's like it thrives in that. Shame thrives in secrecy. But when we bring it out under the microscope and we look at it and we expand on it and we give it oxygen, we give it air, poof, it disappears. It completely disappears. So I wanted to share that experience and that story with you because that moment changed my life. Yeah. Recognizing that my vulnerability was my greatest gift. I can't tell you how many people I had reaching out to me saying, I resonated so much with your story. And I feel like I know you on such a deeper level. And I want to know you on such a deeper level moving forward because you shared what I have been afraid to share. This is the power of a threshold story. So the reason why I asked you to tap into this, moment like this in your life and extrapolate on it, give it some opportunity to breathe. It doesn't need to be a depressing story, right? Two of the other powerful threshold moments for me were the births of my sons. One was incredibly traumatic. The other was like chalk and cheese. Both floored me. Both took me to places I never knew I could go. Both were threshold moments. So what threshold moments have you experienced? What threshold moments are asking to be shared? And I ask this question because the next multi-author book project, the next anthology book project, explores this theme. The book title is called Threshold, Stories of Initiation. We have a few people here who are joining us in that container. Hello, Kylie. Hello, Mona. And I'm going to be sharing some more information with you over the coming 4 days, because it's an incredibly powerful opportunity to write your story, to deepen in your vulnerability and your trust within yourself and your capacity to be seen as a leader in the field, and to step into a sacred crucible of transformation with me as your facilitator to guide you through a very powerful experience. And it's a transformative experience. So, circling back around. Okay, so I mentioned I seeded with this idea that we want to be in creation over consumption. Why? Because it helps us keep our channel clear. It helps us, and this is also very specific for your energetics as well. If you know much about human design and you know what human design type you are, pop it in the comments, please, especially if you're catching the replay as well, because I would love to know. There are certain energetic types in the human design system that are much more susceptible to be in response to their environment, right? So if you are, I for one am one of these types of types. A manifesting generator is my type, and for me, generator 4-6, beautiful. For me, I know that I am always absorbing, responding to the world around me. Now, I'm not saying that that's not a problem, not that that's a bad thing, because it's absolutely not. But the social media world and the ways in which we are bombarded by other people's stories, thoughts, marketing, especially marketing. I don't know how overwhelmed you were with the Black Friday marketing. I had to turn off social media for a few days because it was just too much. But what we want to come to is a place where we are in deep connection and trust with our channel, our own channel. So yesterday we spoke about igniting creativity within the body, within the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra being the furnace that activates creativity and releases it like a torrent, like a flame, up through all of the channels and all of the energy centers. And absolutely, this is an embodied experience, right? A creative, embodied, connected experience. However, when it comes to intuition, and I do believe that intuition and creativity are seeded from the same energetic channel, it very, very energetically similar. The frequencies are very, very similar. In fact, they're almost the same, right? There are slight nuances and differences. But when we activate, when we practice, first of all, coming into the safety of the body, doing the work in the lower chakras so that we can be really embodied in our system, so we can be connected to the earth, so that we can be really connected to those lower chakras where the sense of safety, the sense of embodiment really lies. The more connected we are in our body, it kind of has a polar opposite effect, where the more open we are at the crown. What I see a lot is, especially in the spiritual communities, is people doing a lot of the work with the upper chakras, opening up their channel, connecting in through the third eye, opening the third eye and opening up at the crown, and working through the throat, and having powerful experiences, but not doing the lower work, the work in the lower chakras to ground into the body. Why? Because it can be really painful, like we spoke about yesterday. The things that can be stored in the lower chakras, particularly looking at around the genitalia, around the womb space, around the sacrum, in the hips, men and women, can be very, very painful. For women, we store all of our trauma down here, all of our trauma. So doing the work to come into the sanctity of the body so that we can open up at the crown and actually allow our channel to become like the antenna at the top of a house, to open wide to receive information that is around us at all times. So it comes to a point, I've thought about this a lot. I actually think that we are always channeling spirit. We are always channeling. And the reason why I decided to talk to you today about the power of channeling is that when it comes to writing, there's lots of different ways that we can channel. We can channel paint, we can channel dance, we can channel speak or sing, but we're going to be talking about automatic writing, about channel writing today, because this is the writing festival. And I love giving my clients and my authors tools to practice their automatic writing because it helps get them out of their head. So one of the biggest things that contributes to creative constipation, I like to call it, writer's block, like lack of inspiration, is too much happening in the head, right? The head is full with too much shit. We can't hear, we can't feel, we can't sense. And often the head is full of too much shit because it's not connected to the body. So here's where it all starts to come together, right? We absolutely must come back into the body and pull that energy down and connect it all the way down to the root so that we can release, right? When we release that energy through the root, it's like we give it back to Mama, and Mama Earth, she recycles it, right? So really powerful to be able to do that first and foremost. And whether you do that through somatic practices, through movement practices, through healing in the lower chakras, there's like the sky's the limit for the amount of amazing body work practices, embodiment practices there are. But moving out of the head, releasing energy from the head so that we can hear, so that we can discern, so that we can like come into greater sense of clarity and attunement with our channel, has an incredible impact on our capacity to write, and our capacity to write well, and our capacity to be creative. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this today. The way that I see it is that the body is a giant antenna, and it's also a giant broadcaster. So we know that we're made up of energy. Yeah, this is like basics 101, energy 101. Even if you look at the way the cells in the brain fire, right? Like the synapses fire and create energy, electricity. We emit electricity. The body emits powerful electricity that can very easily be read by particular devices, right? This is known to science. This is not woo-woo, not at all. I believe that we don't understand that like a fraction of how this actually works though. And when we start to look at the energy bodies and the fact that we are made up of energy, an energy system that extends far beyond the body, then we start to see the nuances. So the body is always transmitting information, transmitting signals, transmitting all the time, right? Our heart, one of the most powerful forms of one of the most powerful transmitters of energy, far more powerful than the brain. People are picking up and reading what we're putting out there. That's why they say your emotions and your thoughts are far more powerful often than the words that you speak, because you can speak whatever you want or write whatever you want. But if you're not emotionally aligned and connected to that, or if you have unconscious beliefs that are in complete contradiction to what it is that you say that you want, it's going to like cancel each other out. So at the same time as the body is always transmitting, it is also receiving, right? So we give, we receive, we give, we receive. And I always imagine this like antenna that like, and actually a lot of the work that I've done energetically has come to understand that we do have antennas, energetic antennas. But your antenna, it connects you to the spiritual world around you, to the unseen world, to the interdimensionality upon which you are absolutely interconnected with. And your capacity to call forth incredible wisdom, creative works, insights. I mean, I've had clients channel their own modalities, literally sit down and channel an amazing modality. That's happened 3 times now. Is available to every single person. We can all do this. It's not something that only certain people can do. Every single one of us can channel spirit. Every single one of us can channel our higher self or our guides or our star family or our ancestors, right? It's like, or the angels. There's so many people out there and entities and energies out there ready and willing to support you in your development and support you in your growth. So one thing that I love to do with my authors particularly is get them to connect in with their book guide or their writing guide. So a particular energy, person, ancestor, star race that is ready to step forward to help them in their creative development, to help them fine-tuning their message to help them like really tap into the power and potency of what it is that they are here to say and the stories that they are here to share. And I do this because it helps them to feel like they are supported etherically in the journey. And you guys can do this too. It's very simple. So the way that intuition and creativity blend together, the more we work with our creativity, the more it activates our intuition. And the more we open our intuition, the more we can call forth greater levels of creative inspiration, right? I see this happen time and time again. I wanted to introduce you may have heard this before, but a part of the brain called the reticular activating system, or the RAS. Now, if you've ever decided that you're going to buy a red Mazda, you want to buy a red Mazda, like they're the car, it's the car that you want. You make that decision and then you see that car everywhere. It's like everyone has a red Mazda. Maybe I don't want to buy a red Mazda anymore because I don't want to be like everyone else. It's not that suddenly there's more red Mazdas. It's that your RAS, your reticular activating system inside of your brain, has picked up on the fact that this is now an important bit of information, and I'm going to prioritize filtering this information through. So when you think about it, we are, and this is absolutely true when we're doing a lot of social media consumption as well, we are surrounded by hundreds of thousands of bits of information at any point in time. We actually don't realize how much information we are surrounded by, whether it's 3D information, like information that's being bombarded at you, or whether it's etheric information that's coming through from all of the different levels and all of the different dimensions. However, the brain can only handle and take in a tiny, tiny fraction of that. So what we need to do, what we want to do, is we want to program into the brain the things that are important to prioritize. This is why intention setting is so powerful. And this is why doing regular, consistent practice work with your intentions forefront in your mind is so powerful, because it's reiterating and reinforming to your reticular activating system over and over again. This is important. Prioritize this. I want to receive more information along this line. So we can do this with our intuition as well, by programming into your RAS that accessing heightened levels of intuition and really opening up into what we call the super conscious, which is almost like, you think about it like the collective consciousness. The super consciousness is your intuition on steroids. When we can open up the super conscious, activate our intuition, activate the little antennas, you can't see me, that are at the top of your crown chakra, energetic energy centers, and become a channel for that which it is, that which you say you desire. And then you trust yourself and you trust what comes through, you will be absolutely flabbergasted by the amount of incredible information that can come through. We're going to really be putting like this into practice tomorrow. Okay, we're going to take what we spoke about yesterday, take what we spoke about today, and we're going to be putting pen to paper and co-writing together inside of this Zoom room that you're watching me on Facebook. So I highly encourage you to come to that if you can, because it's going to be really powerful. But your capacity to call forth phenomenal works, like how many books have been written, have been channeled? I've got heaps on my bookshelf here. So many books, so many people sat down and was like, this thing is coming through and I'm going to write it. And they've just channeled an amazing book. Same thing is true for the human design system, what I just mentioned before. Have some coffee. One day, Ra, the guy who developed the human design system, he opened up and he received this body of work over the course of like a week. And this body of work is incredibly detailed, incredibly specific, like incredibly powerful. And he literally received it through his intuition, through his channel. So we can channel works, we can channel modalities, we can channel books, we can channel content. And it gets really interesting here when we connect into the blueprint of your soulmate clients or your, the people who are ready to work with you. And we channel from there. We channel in response to their blueprint. Okay, very, very powerful. But what I wanted to do, I wanted to show you a very basic channeling tool, a channeling question to ask, and tomorrow we'll do this together. but take you through the process that I like to go through when I'm sitting down to channel, and I make a point to try and channel on a daily basis because it's so good for me. I receive my marching orders this way. Okay, this is what we're working on next. Okay, this is the step to take. Okay, have you, like the level of clarity that comes through my channeling is phenomenal. It blows my mind. Like, it blows my mind. So what we want to do is we want to get very clear on an intention, and we want to get very clear on a question. Like that beautiful quote, it doesn't matter what the answer is, it's always determined by the question. I think I just really butchered that. However, you get the drift. The question determines what you receive. So one powerful question that I love, and it's very broad and it's very tuned in, is simply, what does my soul most want me to know? And so when I'm sitting down to channel, I'll write that question at the top. What does my soul most want me to know? And then I will take breath, and I might take myself through a little 2-minute visualization where I am connecting my root chakra down to the earth and feeling that grounded, beautiful, dark Gaian energy. And I feel myself connect into the center of the earth. And then I come up to the crown, and I open up at the crown, and I expand all the way up. I expand my energy up to connect into wherever it is that I'm called to, whether it's like the galactic center of the Milky Way, or connect back to my star family origin, or connect into anywhere. Like this, the galaxy is so crazy, so big. I personally love to connect into my star family origin. For me, that's Lyra, the constellation of Lyra. So I will connect in there. I will ask my star family representatives to step forward to guide me on this journey or on this particular question endeavor. And then I will bring the earth energy to my heart, and I'll bring the galactic energy to my heart, and I will feel myself, my body, existing in time, suspended between gravity and the open expanse of the universe. One of my favorite places to exist inside of. And I will ask the question, what does my soul most want me to know? And I will just allow that question in, and then I'll pick up my pen and I'll put pen to paper. Sometimes I do type because I can type faster than I can write. And I find if it's written in the second person, you need to. You are called to. If I can write it from, if I'm writing in that from that perspective, then it's like it tricks my brain out of the way. And so the question is, and then I write. I simply write. I allow myself to write. Sometimes I have music on. I allow myself to write. I allow myself to feel my body, and I get the fuck out of my head. I stay clear from this very busy monkey mind up here, which will try to convince me that what I'm writing isn't true, is ridiculous. It's like, this is just you. And maybe it is. It probably is. I can tell you what it definitely is. It's the information that my channel is receiving. And then it's like the way upon which my brain organizes that information, and then the way in which that flows through my centers all the way down my meridian system down to my hand. So yes, it kind of is coming from me. It's coming through me, but it's also coming through at the upper intuitive spaces as well. So these days, I don't get into that headspace of like, well, this could be you, or it just could be bullshit, really, because I find it is absolutely not conducive to my channeling. And when I do that, I don't channel very effectively. And when I don't do that, I receive powerful information and powerful guidance and powerful marching orders, right? So I wanted to share this with you because it's a daily practice. And if you're going to take this on as a practice, I really invite you to do it on a daily basis. All it takes is 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes max, where you sit down. And I always do this before I start my morning. I sit down and I ask, what does my soul most want me to know? I have other entities and energies that I connect in with, and I also connect in with the energy of my business. That's powerful. So your business is very separate to you, just as much as you are separate to your business. You are not the business. The business is not you. It is a separate energy, a separate entity. You birthed the business. The business came through you. However, it has its own mission. And you guys collectively come together to co-create. So how's your relationship with your business? Do you talk to your business? Do you allow your business to talk back to you? Or are you just kind of charging along like I used to at 1,000,000 miles an hour, not really stopping, not even really thinking to stop and to connect in, and then wondering why it's not necessarily working so well? You'll be amazed at what comes through. So I would love to hear, please, have you experienced channeling? Have you practiced channeling? Have you worked with channeling before, or automatic writing? And the reason why, I did flag this before, but I want to share it again. The reason why I encourage my authors to do this on a daily basis is because it opens the channel. It opens the channel. It opens it so beautifully, like a beautiful lotus flower blossoming. And the more open our channel is, the more we are able to trust what comes through us and write without overthinking, the more we are able to take our writing practice to the next level. So channel writing and creative writing and professional writing, like content creation and journaling, all of this goes hand in hand. So I'm going to be giving you these tools that are going to help you open up your capacity to write better, to write well, to intuitively receive amazing written works. And this is going to help you on so many levels. So I'm going to just have a look here. Hello, Tara. Welcome. Not channeled for automatic writing. Love this idea around social media content. Yes, 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 yes. I love this so much because often we're creating it from here. What do my clients most need to know? What pleasure points are they desiring? What pain are they escaping? Like, what do they need to know from me? What do they need me to hear? When in actual fact, it's coming from you, right? When we can write in response to their energetic blueprint, and it is as simple as setting the intention to connect into their energetic blueprint, coming into the openness of your heart. I'll often take a few heart breaths. I can just sink my energy down, and I set the intention. I'm now setting the intention to connect into the highest level of my soulmate client. So this is important here. We want highest level, empowered. We don't want disempowered. We want action takers and leaders. We don't want people who are stuck in victim, who need someone to get underneath them and push them into action, right? We want people who are in the state of empowerment, people who are ready and willing to do the work, and people who are like game changers, yeah, like thought leaders, these people who are actively seeking your work. So you must state that you want the highest level blueprint of your soulmate client, right? And then you, whether it's like a piece of content that you're writing, or and I love doing this, it's one of my favorite things to do, is to channel programs in response to my highest level clients. So I channel them. I no longer sit down, and I know, because sometimes I get stuck in my head. And that's why I have a mentor, because they go, I need help, I'm in my head, I need to get out of the head. And she'll take me through some processes, or I'll go and do some tapping, or go have a dance, or do whatever I need to do. I'll go to the ocean, I'll have a swim. And I set the intention to come back into my body, right? If I'm in my head, I'm not going to be able to channel as effectively as I could if I'm in my body. So yeah, very, very powerful, right? And then we are simply trusting your channel. You trust your channel. You develop a relationship with your channel. Your channel is an energetic entity that is very much connected to you and of you, but it is alive. It's a living energetic entity, your channel. Trust it. Trust it. The more you trust your intuition, and the more you trust what pours through you, the more your RAS, your reticular activating system, reinforces that this is a very important thing. I need to prioritize receiving intuitive guidance. You can get a little bit more technical here, right? Because the brain loves to keep us safe, and the brain wants to keep us away from danger. So we can say, I am open to receiving intuitive guidance that is going to be profoundly important for the quality of life that I live here. I don't want to be in survival mode any longer. I want to be thriving. I desire to live a thriving, abundant, healthy, well, delicious life. And my intuition is I follow the marching orders of my intuition in order to cultivate that. So the more we do this, and I often like to do this a lot with tapping, I'll do my tapping to kind of, if I'm feeling, I've got lots of tools, I'm throwing lots out at you, but I'll tap this in, right? I trust my channel. I trust my intuition. I'm activating my reticular activation system to prioritize receiving intuitive guidance. I know that this is important because this is going to help me live the life that I desire. I don't live in survival mode anymore. It is a non-negotiable for me. I live a thriving, healthy, happy, abundant, juicy, delicious, turned on life. And my intuition supports me wholeheartedly in that, right? However you want to do this to really lock this into your system. Another beautiful way is through hypnosis. So a lot of my clients, especially my private clients, I will actually record them in a whole RTT hypnotherapy process to listen to activate this in at the subconscious level. That is incredibly powerful. If you know any hypnotherapy processes yourself and you know how to hypnotize yourself, I highly recommend doing this through hypnotherapy as well. Okay, so how are we feeling? How's everyone going? I know that we've covered a lot of ground. But really today's intention is to support you to understand what practices help you to clear your channel so that you can have a pure system, a pure channel that really brings through potent information, potent, powerful writing, powerful methodologies, powerful programs, powerful content that activates. The thing with content and channeling content, what I've found is, this is true for everything, but you have a particular frequency, as we've spoken about, right? Your unique energy, your unique frequency is very powerful. At the same time as you have a unique frequency, your words and your truth has a powerful frequency. Your truth. You know when you're saying something and it's 90% true, or when you're skirting around the edges of saying something, it's like you don't want to say it as truthfully as you can. You know that, you feel that wasn't wholeheartedly true, what I just said. That wasn't right on my tone of truth. The same thing is true for your soulmate clients. And this is what I love. You're kind of going a little bit off topic here, but I'll share it because it's relevant. It's powerful. You have a soul contract to work with your clients. Your clients have a soul contract to work with you, right? Beyond the scope of this life, far beyond. Especially so if you deliver transformational work. If your work changes people's lives, you wholeheartedly have soul contracts with them. And so your truth and your capacity to speak truth in your content, to strike the tone of truth, is the frequency, the exact energetic frequency that is the key that unlocks your soulmate client's ability to take their life to the next level, whether that's through working with you, or whether that's simply for hearing something that you've said and that thing changes everything for them. This is not just about money and about contractual arrangements. It's about supporting people to live powerfully, to transform their lives. So the more truth you can speak and you can write and you can bear the sensation of taking yourself to, whether that's with yourself, whether that's with your clients or your partner or your children or social media or the world through a published work, if you can bear the sensation of this is so much, there's so much potent truth in this and it's going to trigger the fuck out of some people, and that's okay. But the right kind of person is going to be deeply, deeply transformed by your words. I want you to think, has there been a book that you've read or a body of work that you've explored that changed everything for you? It opened you in a way, it cracked you wide open. It opened you in a way that you didn't know you could open that much, and you could bear the excruciating vulnerability of being opened so much by this. Your words have the power to do that for others as well. We often don't realize how powerful our words are. This is why I'd never recommend every day you got to put out content. If it means sitting down and writing something that you don't really feel particularly aligned to, I would much rather you don't write anything at all. It's so much more powerful to preserve your energy and your voice and your words for moments in time where you are so fucking lit up by the thing that you're about to share. Or, and I've done this before, where like you've written a story on social for social media, and it's like a really powerful story, or you're about to publish something and your legs are shaking under the table and you're like, can I really share that? I don't know if I can share that. Like, can I really share that? And you click send, or you send it to the publisher and it's out there. You put it out there. Do you know the power of that? So the thing that I like to say here is, if you don't feel it when you're writing it, your people don't feel it when they read it. You need to feel it when you write it. You need to feel it in your body. You need to feel it in every cell of your being. You know when something is bang on the tone of truth, because like your body is vibrating with the power of it. So don't waste your words with bullshit. Don't do that. Much rather that you, instead of like just shoving something out there, you get out into nature, you move your body, you breathe, you connect in with your team, you open up your channel, or you find a story in time that's like really potent for the thing that you're sharing. And we're going to talk more about that on Thursday as we explore the art of sacred storytelling. I'd much rather that you really do it well. Yeah, these are the posts or the books or the pieces of work that move people, that rock them to their core. So a little recap. What does my soul most want me to know? That if you're going to start a writing practice, a regular, consistent practice, this is one of the most powerful questions you can ask. It's broad, it's open, the energy of it is really powerful, and you will receive what you want to receive in that moment. Practicing automatic writing on a daily basis helps you to get out of your head and back into your body. It helps you to trust your channel and to trust what's coming through. And it programs your reticular activating system, that your intuition and your ability to receive intuitive guidance is of a high priority. I'd recommend doing some embodiment practice or some energetic work to really allow your subconscious mind to open up to these ideas, to move it through your body, to allow your body to feel like it's a safe temple, that it's safe to reside in your body, so that you can be as grounded as possible, so that you can, at the polar opposite, open up as powerfully and as wide as possible. I think that's pretty much it for today. It is 50 minutes. I've been trying to keep these to 45, so my apologies. We've gone 5 minutes over yesterday and today. Please pop all of your insights, all of your questions, all of your anything, all of what you desire to share into the thread, into this comment section, and practice channeling today with that question. What does my soul most want me to know? I'm going to be taking you through a process live tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to record it, purely because, or as in stream it through to Facebook, purely because Facebook doesn't like music when you stream music, and it'll boot me off. So it will be live. Please join us. What time is it tomorrow? I think it's 1 o'clock tomorrow. 1 o'clock tomorrow. Alrighty. Thank you, my loves. I'll see you then. Bye for now.